Howdy, loyal fans. Non here at Information Highwayman, and it is Friday. Yay! Which means that you're watching the Friday Ace of Spades website review, and today you are going to learn the magic number. How many objectives to present on a homepage to ensure maximum clicks? The answer may or may not surprise you, whichever. Hopefully it will be helpful to you. And to illustrate it, we're going to be looking at www.checkadvantage.com, which has been kindly nominated by Trey Casey. My bad. If you're a long-time watcher, you'll notice that I've changed the checklist. Oh no! But it's geeky, so it's okay. It's the Frodo conversion rate checklist now. I'm not going to go into any detail here as to what I've done, except at the end you'll incidentally get some information about offers. I will be doing a separate screencast later this week, which will go into much more detail about the checklist and will give you a lot better understanding of it and help you to apply it to other websites, be it your own or someone else's. For now, let's just remember that orientation, desirability, and offers are the things that represent the key elements on a website. So they're the core of the checklist, and it's not enough to have those elements. You need to make sure that they get the attention that they deserve, which we do with the attention equals contrast plus IPath, or ACE. Let's move on to first reaction. How does the site make me feel? How does the site make me feel? This is the site here. Okay, whoa, this is really busy. There is way too much going on, and I don't know where to look or what it's all about. I'm also getting some weird, funky rollover things here, which I don't really understand. It's like it rolls over to different images on different parts of the image. The design, okay, I'm going to be a bit harsh here, but it seems both 90s and unprofessional. It makes me nervous, especially because it's a site related to money. And interesting fact, anything related to money, people understand money way less than they would like to, and it makes them anxious. So anything related to money, you have to be extra clear and extra professional seeming and extra good. Otherwise, people get anxious and they leave because they just don't feel comfortable. Alright, that's the first reaction. Orientation. Am I in the right place? Honestly, I have no idea. Okay, if I came here from Google, I probably already searched for something like cheap personal checks or business checks or that kind of thing. So I probably have a pretty good idea of what I'm looking at right here, especially this section here, which gives me something to tell me what they are. Gives me nice images of them. But there aren't actually any elements that really jump out and reassure me about where I am. I don't have anything to tell me that I am on a site that serves personal checks in terms of an actual piece of text. Or do I? Actually, I do. Right here, you probably can't even see this because of all the red that's already here. Where my mouse is, it says, order cheap personal and business checks online, old world service free of charge. That's good. But, if you remember the ACE formula, attention equals contrast plus IPath, there just isn't any contrast. It's in the right place in terms of IPath. It's at the top of the page. That's good. But because of the fact that you've got this huge red bar down the side, and you've got all these other elements competing for attention, basically you just don't see anything. When you've got pretty much every element having contrast, no elements have contrast. So you need to make sure that you reduce the number of elements and that you make some of them clearly less important than others in terms of their visual dominance. Speaking of the huge line down the left, holy hell, are those all links? Which ones do I click on? I can't take them all in. It just makes me feel overwhelmed. So rather than giving me a sense that I'm in the right place and these are the things that I can do here, these are the various pages that I can go to, because there's so many that I can't actually take them in, I just feel overwhelmed and I don't feel good about the place at all. Okay. Desirability is about, do I believe that I'll gain more than I invest by doing business on this website? And a lot of that has to do with copy. Things need to be explained. It has to be presented as an argument that will persuade me that I will gain more than I invest. Whether investment be, just time spent, giving an email address, giving money, anything like that. There's no headline here. Nothing to engage with what's on my mind. any of the problems or desires that I have when I come to the site, and there's nothing that offers me the kind of benefits that I'm interested in. There are bits of text around the place that serve similar sorts of purposes, but again, they are so hard to spot and so lost among the visual swamp of elements that it's very, very difficult to consider them at all. There are lots of images, and images are usually good for generating desirability because of the fact that they, for any kind of physical product especially, they can be used to illustrate what the product looks like, and people are always really interested in seeing what they're actually going to buy, so that's good. But there's so many images here, and the quality isn't very good either. It's so much to take in that I just feel overwhelmed rather than it makes me feel overwhelmed rather than helping me to see what I'll gain by doing business here. And there is no copy either. There are little taglines out of the images. That's, as much as you get, really. It's like I've had a catalogue shoved under my face by a silent salesman wearing a ski mask rather than by someone who's actually kind of started a conversation with me and tried to tell me what they do and why I should actually be interested in buying what they want me to buy. Having said that, there is a lot of copy all the way down here. Way down here. Far, far, far below the fold where it's really, really hopeless, where most people will not see it. I saw a study recently by Jacob Nielsen which indicates that I think it was only 20% of people actually get to copy that's below the fold. A lot of people will scroll down to the very bottom, like all the way down here, to see what's here, because similar kind of concept as the PS in a letter, you always go to the end to see what you're going to miss. But this copy is going to be getting probably only 20% of your users actually looking at it. It's also pretty long, and the two main issues are, one, it's set in 12 pixels, so it's really, really small and hard to read, and two, the actual measure of the line, that is the number of characters wide that it is about twice as many as the maximum considered legible. 75 characters for a line is considered to be about the maximum that is desirable in terms of legibility. If you go any further than 75 characters for a line, it starts to become more difficult to read the line because it's difficult to scan all the way across and then hop back down to the next one. These lines are about 130, 140 characters long, and that is going to be costing you a heck of a lot of readership. Alright, let's have a look at offers. Offers are about, do my goals match the available options? Do I, as the prospect, have the same things in mind as what the website's actually offering me? And here we run into some issues, because if we go back up here, the only actual offer being made, I'm not talking about objectives, but the only actual offer being made is reorder now, click here. Now, that may be a very valid offer, because most likely this website's seeing a lot of return customers who order on the website, so it's a sensible thing to have. However, there's nothing here for new customers. These wonderful little bits of text here, which are all clickable links, they're not offers. They're objectives, and no doubt it would be great if people would click on them, but they're not being offered. All they're being presented as are text links. There's no kind of engagement, there's no conversation going on, there's nothing to say, please do this. There are no verbs, in other words. If we go a little further down, we see that there is also a view all personal checks option. At which point I stop and I wonder to myself, holy crap, aren't I viewing all the personal checks already? There are 9 here, just on the first page, which it doesn't seem like much when you say 9, but when you actually look at it, it's quite visually overwhelming, especially when you've got all these other elements going on, these top 3 elements here, and then you've got all this stuff further down. Okay. I said before that you're going to learn the magic number. On this homepage, there are millions of objectives. So what is the magic number for the number of objectives that you should have? Well, first of all, it is kind of a trick question because objectives in themselves don't generally accomplish anything. Many of the objectives on this page are probably objectives that prospects are very interested in. They match the goals that the prospect already has in mind, but they're presented in a way that is almost guaranteed to get the fewest clicks possible because they aren't offered to the prospect. They're just kind of slammed in his face, and there's so many that he has trouble choosing them. So, pick one primary objective, pick 1 or 2 secondary objectives. Primary objective generally will be the one that the most number of prospects are going to be interested in, and or the one that is going to generate the most revenue for you in the long term for your business. Secondary objectives are ones that other prospects are going to be interested in if they're not interested in the primary objective. And often you'll find that primary objective will be some kind of a sales offer, and the secondary objective will be for people who aren't quite ready to commit to a sales offer, so it's some kind of lead generation offer instead. In the case of this website, going with that approach is going to require a complete redesign. You'll need to get rid of the huge selection of images, preferably the overwhelming left-hand side bar over here as well. That's really harsh. Turn it into a mega menu. Casey, if you aren't familiar with what a mega menu is, just look it up on Google and you'll see quite a few examples. So the magic number is 1. Do not overwhelm your prospect with choices. Pick one that he will most like, and 1 or 2 others, and offer them to him clearly. Remember, ACE, attention, equals contrast plus IPath. You kind of contrast if you've got millions of elements all competing for attention. Doesn't matter how bright you make one individual element, if they're all bright and dominant, then none of them will be bright and dominant. Okay. Questions, comments, or hate mail, as always, email non@informationhighwayman.com. And if you're not already signed up to the ACES page, I strongly recommend that you sign up, because I'll be doing another screencast later this week, which will be telling you all about the checklist that I use, the Frodo checklist, as it is now called. And we'll go into great detail about all the fundamental principles of how to test a website for whether it's going to get good conversions or not. These are general principles, obviously, and every website is different, but they are good, sound, foundational principles to learn. And they will help you to both improve your own website, and if you're a web designer or a marketer, they will help you to improve other people's websites. So sign up at www.informationhighwayman.com/ace. I am now going to go and have a delicious steak for dinner, because it is Friday, and I will see you again next week.